Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Monday, a fresh week, an exciting week, a week with news right out of the gate. Big Sunday open. It's holding up. We're trending higher. Question for you. I'm going to start off this week, with a question. If you have a position on right now, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't have a position on, put a 2. I want to see where everybody's at. Is everybody trading? Is everybody not trading? What are we hanging out for? Again, question for you all in the chat. If you have a position on, put a 1. If not, have a 2. And while I'm waiting for those answers to come flying in, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of MyFunded TV. MyFunded Futures is not only the trustworthy, the transparent, the fastest payouts, the rules made for you prop firm. We are also a community. We have our bustling Discord, and now we have all of you that we get to have some FaceTime with for 2.5 hours every single day. Over the next 90 minutes here, I'm going to welcome on Miss Bull Barbie and Mr. Forrest Knight, VPE Forrest, as we like to call him. I'm going to ask them to take a quick look at ES and NQ and get their opinions as experts, as professionals. You know, how are they handling the market on a day like today? We're going to take a look at news that's coming out later in this week. We always deliver for you the most interesting chart of the day, And I'm going to tap Forrest to watch the open live with me. So we're going to spend some time doing that. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Miss Bull Barbie and Mr. Forrest Knight on to the stream with us. What's going on, guys?
Good morning.
Exciting day today.
It's a really great morning for anyone who is holding long positions.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Yeah, I appreciated the straight from the top, go long now tweet or whatever from yesterday.
Yeah, I don't mind those at all.
I was I don't know. It's crazy times we're living in where the president's just giving trading signals, I guess.
Signal service. And
that's allowed.
The thing is,
stop paying for signal service.
If Trump says he's going to deliver you something big, Trump is going to deliver you something big. So
that's true. I mean, we're up almost.
Love him or hate him, that's a fact.
800 points on NQ.
Mm-hmm.
853 points.
Forrest, what are we at right now?
We're at 20,893. Friday closed at 20,135, let's call it. Right. So it was a massive move here post settlement.
Yeah, and I got the 5% is 21,143, 7% is 21,541. So we have some room there to get there, but it's not that far off.
Is it 21,143?
Yes, sir. It's 5%.
Mark that on the charts. For all of you who don't know what that means, remember that as traders with MyFunded Futures, there are limits that you want to be aware of. And Luke has already given us that number. So 21,143. Let's put it right there ish on the chart for you. Boom, bam.
And I noticed ES is not, so the NASDAQ's up closer to 4% right now, and ES is up closer to 3%. So we got a little bit more room on that one. I mean, we're up 200 points, only 200 points on ES.
Only, yeah, that's
only 200.
That's crazy.
Well, let's start with ES. Barbie, what do we got? And, how are you handling a day like today?
So here's what it looks like on the daily. We've obviously got this gap up, and just so we're not in the dark, like I think we've alluded to this, but this is based on the Trump news with the pharmaceuticals overnight. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot today. So we got this gap up and a nice big pre-market candle going as well. And I was looking for us to break out of this little spot that we were in. And I had kind of that spot that I was watching around 56.80. This be our launch pad. We didn't even need it. We just blasted off beyond the launch pad. But we are over that 200 SMA now. So we're technically above all of these SMAs. I'm going to be watching this first level down here. That's kind of where this 200 is, around 57.80 now. But it's kind of we're in a little bit of that tricky spot because we're into this extension now. And I'll show you on the hourly how I might normally play this versus how I'm going to kind of look at this today. So on a normal day, when we get a nice gap up and continue to move away from it, I'm usually looking for a failure of this level up here to move back into the gap. I'm not as confident with actually messing around in this gap today. So if I want to play this at all, I'd probably be more waiting for a retrace to go long, looking more for a long, because this is on some pretty powerful news. So normally a trade, I might look for kind of a retracement back into at least to explore this gap. But I don't have full confidence in that one today. Y'all want some levels? I got some levels up here yet too.
Yeah, okay. So I was just going to ask, why don't you have levels today? But you do.
Level them up.
I do. I keep my chart. I keep some charts really, really clean, and I keep some charts with all my notes, and that's just kind of how I keep things organized. So I kind of work my way through that a little bit too. Sometimes it's nice to get a really clear picture of what the candle shapes are, and then other times you want those hard levels. But the level we kind of opened up at was that high from last week that we put in on Thursday. So that's one to watch. It's right there at 57.40. I marked that high last week at 57.39.25, but you can call it 57.40. So we'd immediately kind of rallied up to 57.68 up in here. So I'm kind of watching that 57.70 area, 57.70. If we kind of start making some retracements down, this is a level that I was watching before too. This is a daily.
So Barbie, just to slow you down for a second. So you just mentioned 57.70. Are you suggesting that if we were to come down to that level or break below that level, then you look for a trade on the short side?
Might look for a short side. This might be kind of somewhere if we're going to get a retracement. This is a little bit different because it's news driven. If this was just a technically driven gap, I would be looking to short this level up here and play down into these levels. Mm-hmm. But because this is a news driven gap, I'm waiting to see if we get a retracement first to go long. So these are all levels where I would be kind of looking for places to go long. I'm still cautious about the coming back to the gap play, but I'm definitely going to be watching it open to see if these levels hold. So even if I don't play them right away, I'm going to see if they hold, if we wick below them, and it gets bought right back up, because that's going to be a really good intraday support level. So one of the levels up, all the way down would be the 57.40, but one of the other ones I'll be watching is the 57.70. And it's basically all these were targets that I was looking for before, like last week. And so now they're potentially going to become support. This one was a daily Fibonacci extension. And if I marked it, it probably had confluence with something too. But so that one's 58.14. And then we're hanging out right around this 58.50. So I'm going to see if this is going to be a really important level today. I expect it to be, because it's the area that we've pumped to and then been consolidating. So if we do make a move lower and kind of test the 58.14, even at the 5800, or even down into the 57.80s, this would be kind of where I'm looking for the market to retarget and retest again. We could get no pullback. That's actually an option too. So if we get no pullback, I'll get the clues from that. Like if we try to make a move lower and it's immediately bought back up, and that's going to show that the market's really, really bullish. And then I might look for an entry to go long for some of these other targets. The other targets being, I marked this VP, so I'm sure there's a volume profile level. This might have been, we'll have to see if Forrest has a level up here too. This might have been an old POC. I have one coming up on ES at 57.88 that I just have marked VP.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I didn't leave myself any more notes, but when I pull those from the high time frame charts, a lot of the times it's a point of control.
Very powerful is what VP stands for.
Yeah.
Very peculiar.
Very powerful energy.
And then we actually all have a fib extension all the way up to 5,900. So that's kind of the upper range of it today. We know the lower range because that's where we were trading last week. If for some reason we decide that we don't really care about pharmaceuticals being cheaper, then maybe we'll be back here. But I'm not really looking. That's not my plan A. Put it that way.
Yeah, shout out. Got to give props where props are due. You know, lowering drug prices. I think all Americans can agree that that's a good thing. Regardless of
not controversial. Yeah.
Someone today is like, dude, I can't believe this shit. I'm like, hey, bro, Yeah,
Wait, what is like? I didn't even check the pharma stocks today. Oh, they're holding up just
I
fine.
did. No, they're not. Look
I'm looking
the
at
pre-market.
Pfizer. Which one are you looking at?
I looked at all of them. I was looking at. Well, I actually made myself a list. Where did it go?
I think we'll have to see how it actually impacts him. I mean, he signed an executive order, right? Which, you know, for anyone who doesn't understand how our country is supposed to work, it's not a law, right? And it's only going to affect probably Medicare and Medicaid, which is a huge market. But nonetheless, it will affect a lot of and change a lot of people's lives depending on how to implement it. So, interesting to see how that will play out. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see. I guess I could jump in. Did you want me to jump into NQ?
Well, let's just talk about these pharma stocks for a second.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just kind of scrolling through some real quick to look. They've all definitely gapped down, and some of them are kind of trying to close that gap. I'm just kind of scrolling through some.
Well, and I guess my point is the fact that some of these stocks are more or less flat. Let's say within 0.5%. Granted, the market's up a few percent, so you know maybe you got to look at a differential. The bad ones are down a couple percent, 2-3%. But given the magnitude of the news, it's not horrible, you know. So I think it's sort of interesting. I would have expected these stocks to gap way lower this morning.
The Johnson & Johnson's probably one of the big ones, and so it has dropped down below support. But that's what I had zoomed out real quick, and I had seen that there is still room below there a little bit from even this year. Johnson & Johnson.
It could be an opportunity. So there was a recent historic event where a healthcare CEO was assassinated. That stock did not move on the day. It actually went higher on that day, and then it moved down significantly later. Right? Talk about United Healthcare. So it could be another one of those things where there's a delayed move. Could be a trade idea for all of you guys where there's no reaction on the day, and then something happens later. Also, again, it's just an executive order, so I don't know. I mean, it really, the devil's in the details. You know, we got to see how these companies are actually affected by the order, by the news.
Yep. There you have it, folks. Signal for you. Idea. I guess an idea.
A little idea for you.
All right. So we talked about ES. We talked about some of the pharma stocks. Forrest, NQ. What's going on, man?
NQ. I was trying to think of something witty with NQ. Not quiet. I don't know. That wasn't it, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, not quiet.
Not quite done yet. Ha.
There you go.
So let's just zoom out per usual. Take a look at these higher time frames. So all of our higher targets got hit, right? So this was that next shelf higher that I have marked out for ever now on the higher time frame VP. We went, cracked into that. Same thing happened on, you got to do a 2-second departure on ES, right? So I had a target higher, which I guess is not going to load for some reason. Okay, that's fine. But we had that next shelf higher target that got hit. If we look at the daily, let's just go to the daily volume profile. Not sure why I have a VWAP there. Give this a second to load. Trading View is doing its thing. It's thinking as fast as it can. We really want to see where how the major nodes are outlaid now. So we cracked into that next shelf, right? So I had this marked here, next shelf higher. We've traversed the entire thing, just about here with this you know news or you know Trump tweet candle, whatever you want to call it. So interestingly enough, that 5% level is almost, it's a little bit lower the edge of the shelf, is almost at the edge of what I would consider the shelf for this node here, right? So I'll just box it out here visually. So there's like this node here. Again, nodes are people. A bunch of people positioned here. We don't know if they're long, short, doesn't really matter. We know that there's historically a bunch of people participated in this set of prices that we're ripping through right now. So I would suspect, unless we're going to have a 2,000 point day, guys, and here's what you got to ask yourself. We've already gapped up 800 points. Okay. We have had 1,000 point days for sure. Okay. We've had 1,100 point days. I can't remember what the record is on NQ. We've had some pretty big days. We haven't had a 2,000 point day. Okay. So it's very, very unlikely that this thing just rips to all-time highs today. So if you're somebody who's like, I'm just going to full port long now, I don't know. I'm gonna pray for you, but
You're not into the YOLO today.
yeah.
No
So I
YOLO.
think looking and being long biased is smart, right? We've been in an uptrend, okay. But what that means is on the day, if I'm long biased and the day is already made at least 50% of the move, 60% of the move on the day, then maybe I do nothing today, right? Maybe you don't want to play any shorts. That's an idea. Okay. I do think that this will, retrace at some point. With due to how big this move was, I don't really know. What I do know is that we're near the edge of the shelf, and that would be my first look for shorts if I wanted to short. Personally, though, I did take a long last night. I did not get nearly enough of this juice, to be honest. So I have a little bit of FOMO. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I did okay. So I'm probably, it's Monday. You know me, I'm really boring. I'm gonna be careful today, and not give anything back. But I would say I agree with your assessment earlier, right? If we go to the lowers, if we do crack, below really the beginning of this shape is one way to look at it. Right? We have this flag. If we crack into this low value here, or what the ICT clan likes to call, fair value gap, we'll probably rip lower and start to come and fill in this imbalance, right? So yeah, that's my thoughts on NQ today. Otherwise, we are bull flagging, and if I just
anything can happen with Trump.
Yep. If I do a
is there more news
calculation,
expected today? I don't know if anything else got hinted.
There's nothing. There's no planned major data that I'm worried about today because I'm much more focused on CPI tomorrow. But my whole play, because I am long on this too, but I played it with options, was he said that there was a big announcement, and then he said that it was a good time to buy stocks, and so I did. It's like, so the big announcement was the pharmaceutical. There was a couple things last week, and I was like, was that that wasn't the big announcement, but the pharmaceutical thing clearly was. So I've been kind of in that play, and I think a lot of people that are in that play are going to be looking to take profits early and then chill. So,
let me see how much.
Is there any sort of, the other thing I'm thinking about is with regard to China, is there any sort of press conference, or will we have talking heads today that are going to give us more details? I don't know if
I don't have any on the calendar, but a lot of times they'll kind of pop up. But we'll also have, like, I was just kind of alluding to what happens with the volume a lot too. So anyone who is long will probably be hitting the open and then out of the market for a little bit. So that's something to kind of watch, is we'll have probably a burst of volume and then it'll settle real fast. So I'm kind of watching for that a little bit too. But we could have somebody come on and give their reaction. That's definitely on the table. I just don't have any, I don't see anything scheduled yet.
Okay. So look out for that. You see Howard Lutnick popping up, or Scott Bassett. Get on your hands, maybe.
Oh, wait, here's one. U.S. Trump holds press conference with Health Secretary RFK. Are they doing that right now? Yeah, it says watch live. There you go. They're literally getting ready to start.
All right. And they will, I would imagine, and by they I mean Trump, will talk about the China deal.
Yeah.
At some point during this press
conference.
Talk about. That's sort of exactly what I was looking for. So be careful, guys and gals.
That's why I'm wanting to take a lot of profits right at open, even though this thing could still pump. I just want to get profits booked. Mm-hmm. This was handed to us on a silver platter. And
so when you remember that conversation we had last week, Barbie, and I was asking you the exact date that he said it was going to be, like either Friday or Monday or
Thursday, Friday or Monday, and then it was like Sunday, but okay.
Yeah. So I took a strangle dated for Tuesday just for that reason.
Nice.
So I'm up nicely on that strangle, but I might take profits.
I just grabbed all the SPY calls. I got the 520 or 574s and the 575s for this week in June. So
nice.
I'm not going to be a bad open.
But Barbie, so when you're trying to exit this trade right at the open, it's an options trade. Like, does it take some time for the options to price appropriately?
Yeah, so at first it's just going to be flashing all over the place. I'll have my DOM open, and it'll first, like, the bid ask is going to be everywhere, but I'm going to just be watching for it to narrow and then immediately put my limit orders in.
How long does that take? Is that a 30-second process, a 2-minute process?
On the SPY, it's pretty fast. It'll happen inside the first minute. probably. Sometimes if you've got something that's not SPY, if it's Disney or something like that, it might take a little bit longer just because it has less volume, but everybody's on SPY, which is why I was watching where the flow was too, and I picked some strikes just inside the heavy flow. So
yeah, I hear you. All right, we're 5 minutes to the open. Barbie, I would like to ask you for the most interesting chart of the day in 3 minutes. And then we're going to let you go manage that trade, and Forrest and I are going to hang out and watch the open together.
You know, I kind of poked around a little bit, but I just thought this was too obvious. I mean, SPY's the chart of the day. I could have looked at all the pharmaceuticals. We kind of glanced at those earlier. Yep. They're down. Maybe have some buy opportunities coming, but I don't think we have to rush at that. This is by far the most interesting thing because on the S&P, we're getting a massive gap, and this is putting a gap in on the SPY. I have the electronic trading hours in here. So this gap is actually going to be from all the way back in this area, the 50 or 565s. And they're going to be opening up with a 20-point gap on SPY, which is pretty crazy. So I could not ignore this one at all. What else can we say about it, though? This is largely news-driven, like we were talking about. And when we go look, I'll pull out the daily to show y'all how this works a little bit too. Well, I don't have all of my levels on here. Let me move it over to this chart. The way I look at this is, I'm on the wrong chart. Sorry, y'all. I'm almost there. So on this daily chart that I show you on the ES, what I do is I kind of look at how we're trading relative to the SPY. So that's why I have these same indicators on here. These are the 2 and 3 ATR Keltners. And if I switch this chart over to SPY, this pre-market's going to be pushing that 3 ATR pretty hard. That's another reason I'm wanting to get this trade booked up. So there is going to definitely be some resistance overhead on the SPY chart right now. But then again, it can also just keep ripping too. You can see we kept ripping lower and pushing those extensions. So we can kind of do the same thing here today at open. So that's kind of what I'm watching for. Kind of an obvious chart of the day there.
All right.
Nice.
All right. I want to ask
unless y'all have another one you want to look at, because this was just like, hello. SPY is up.
That's a good one. Forrest, I'm going to ask you to take a look at VIX and gold in a second here.
Let's take a look at it.
Once we, let's take a look.
VIX is pretty interesting right now too, actually.
Let's take a look at the old VIX. So I think I need to go to maybe this one. Aha, there's my lines. All right, so we've got a few things here. Let's clean this up. Go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I've got a mess on my charts. It's a little messy. So we're in this red box, right? And the red box was kind of the historical VIX range, right? That's why I have it marked out. So we have these two big spikes, but VIX has kind of been ranging in this area. I could even, tighten it up a little bit more if I wanted to, make it a little more accurate. But VIX ranges in this area. So we're back into it, right? VIX is at 1953. Crash, not really crashing, but it's coming down. Market's going up. Makes sense. So we should expect, again, tighter days. The only way that we're going to continue to get outside of this massive leg that we just did, right? If we're going to have another massive leg, the VIX is going to have to keep like crashing like today, like down to this next pivot 1710 or 17. Let's just call it 17. Let's make it easy on ourselves in terms of talking about it. Right, next VIX pivot down at 17, and then all the way at the lows here. I don't think it's going to race just straight down to that level today, to be honest. I'd be very, very surprised. Again, I don't think we're going to have a 2,000-point day. It just doesn't seem likely to me. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll go long, and I'll play that little measured move I mapped out. But yeah, we should expect tighter days as well. So outside of today, we made this massive move. We should expect the average trading range to decrease, right? Volatility is going down. So this is the VIX is a measure of the expected, forward volatility. It's literally going down. So you should expect tighter days, which should tell you as a trader, if you're somebody who normally holds, and your kind of base hit is 50 points, your base hit's probably going to be like 35 points or 30 points, right? So whatever you're trading, you just need to keep that in mind, that your trades will get smaller. They just will. That's how it works. We should expect that it to get even tighter and tighter as VIX goes lower and lower. Hopefully we don't get to the bottom of this range. I mean, we've been in the trading Olympics here for the last little while, since January, when the market started coming off. I mean, everyone's long-term port got absolutely annihilated, but if you're a trader like we are, it's been pretty good for intraday speculation. When the VIX is low, it's not as fun. So oh, one of my alerts hit. Let's see what we got here. Apple hit 204.53. Why did I have an alert there? Oh, the market's open. That's why the alert fired.
Okay.
Hold on, let me look at this.
Why do you have an alert on Apple, Forrest? Do you trade Apple? Are you looking at it for the purpose of how it'll impact on Q?
Yes, I'm always looking at Apple as a so this was my alert here. Oh, it just raced through that low value area. Yeah, so obviously when I put this alert, I didn't know that Trump was going to tweet. But we have this node down here, and then we have this next major shelf up here, but it just ripped through that low value there. Right, just absolutely traversed it. So not much to do on that one right now, honestly. So that alert kind of more so fired after the fact. But yeah, I look at Apple and like the large equities as confluence or leading indicators for what the indices might do. Sometimes you'll get like a really good setup on Apple and like the indices are lagging, and you can just use that to get into a trade early on the indices. So go ahead and delete that. Get this line out of here. Don't even know why that line's there, to be honest. Little floater. Oh, my alert won't delete. Love that. Cool.
All right.
What was the other thing you wanted me to look at? VIX and something else?
Gold, sir.
Gold
on a day like today. Market's ripping. Is it an inverse trade?
So gold is ranging here at the highs. Let's get our bearings on the daily. Okay, so gold came up, did that little double top. I think last time I talked about gold, I talked about the possibility of an M shape. I'm pretty confident I did. You go check the stream. So yeah, my downside level would be here around whatever price this is. Doesn't really matter. 29.89. And that just makes sense. If the market's going to be hot again, gold is like a hedge. Gold rips when there's uncertainty. If people become more certain, gold's not going to continue to rip. That's just the way gold works, guys. It doesn't mean it's going to fall off a cliff, right? If you look at gold historically, let's just go to the monthly, right? It still has an, mostly upwards bias aside from back here. But yeah, I do expect it to come off a little bit. My VP is, why is this thing loading so slow? Come on, TradingView, you can do it.
You know why? But it's slow.
Why?
There are so many people looking at the market today.
I guess there was actually a day this thing used to load instantly. TradingView changed. I don't know what their engineers are doing. They changed something, but I remember this specific day where things started loading slower. They changed something on their back end for the worse. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's gold. That's my quick thoughts on gold. The alternative, by the way, guys, right, is it's just going to range. It's going to chop at the highs here. So let's get back to our 4-hour view. You can see here, and maybe you guys can't see it. It's not as obvious. There's an obvious lows and some obvious highs. Okay, so it's going to do one of these. Gold likes to do that, by the way. Like it likes to range in some price area. So this would be, if I was going to long gold, this would be where I would long with exceptionally tight risk or tight stop right below here. And my thesis is essentially that it's going to range, right? And so I could just have a tight stop, and that gives you like a 1 for 6 or whatever that is.
Barbie, any opinion on gold on a day like today?
I think Forrest is kind of right where it's made that move down, and we should kind of watch for it to consolidate and potentially do the opposite of what the market's doing. If gold doesn't know what to do, it's just going to kind of do that reverse correlation thing. And I'm watching the VIX kind of live. I know Forrest watches it a little bit more on the higher time frames, but it's dropping even on the 5-minute right now. So the market is definitely feeling a lot more calm than it was last week, I guess. A lot more happy, a lot more optimism. Everyone's feeling good because they just closed a bunch of SPY calls, right?
All right, Barbie. I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone.
Uh-oh. Do I have one of those?
How much of a bagger was that trade?
Well, I had it on my big account, and I just turned 15% on my big account, which I do not normally do. I'm usually like 4 or 5 is a good day. So, there was 1 comma, not 2, but it's a good trade.
Great trade. All right.
This was not my best trade ever, but I think this might be number 2. It's pretty close. I'll have to go look.
Oh, really? Well, congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. That's why I was warning them. I was like, I'm going to be distracted at open because I got a bag to grab.
All right, folks. Can I interrupt for a minute, Forrest?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
interrupt
watching.
yourself.
All right.
Watching a trade here.
All right.
You've
I'm
got
going to
the same
interrupt for a
problem too.
minute.
We're feeling good today. So.
All right. There's two things that I want to do. First, I've got resets for everybody. Okay.
Woo!
All of you who are going to say you want accounts instead of resets, stop. Think about what you're typing for a second. We're giving away $15,000 worth of free stuff today. Don't complain. Okay. So we're going to do a round of free resets for all y'all. I think today is a day to celebrate. We got a second trade deal in basically 2 market days. We got the market rocking and rolling. We got Barbie hitting it big. We got Forrest hitting it big. We got the chat hitting it big. So I want to celebrate and give a round of free resets to you all. After that, I've got some honorable mentions to celebrate our members of our community who are making some money. Barbie's got the money gun. That's right. And then I've got a very special promo, Barbie. A very special promo. It's going to be using code YouTube. So stay tuned, guys. All right. I'm also going to ask this from the chat. Could you please put your favorite song that you're listening to right now? I'm working on rebuilding my trading playlist. And I want to get some ideas from the chat. So I want the favorite song that you're listening to while we're showing off our community and doing some resets. All right. All right. That sounds great, Luke. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, we have free resets. 50 of you of you are going to be big winners of free resets on MyFunded TV. This is how we open up a Monday. It's how we open up the trades. It's how we get it cooking. So without further ado, code is going on the screen now. Free resets, code TradeStream. That's right, code TradeStream. 50 of you are getting free resets. Put it in there. If you
I'm waiting for the I got it.
Winner,
I got it.
Yes, put it in the chat. Let's hear it. I love how quiet the chat gets as soon as the code goes on.
Yeah, they're all a little busy right now, Luke.
Yes.
There
if you
we
have
go.
not yet liked or shared the stream, now is your chance. There's no better time than the present. We do this because we love the product that we build. We love hanging out with all you. We love having you all in our community. So thank you for being a part of this day with us, especially on such an exciting day. So I appreciate it. You can go ahead and put hearts in the chat if you love MyFundedFutures and the flexibility that we give as well. On that note, I would like to show off a couple members of our community who hit it big. How's that sound, Barbie?
I love that. That's one of my favorites.
That?
This is like one of my favorite times.
All right. I want to show off a user with a live account. Live funded account from MyFundedFutures. We're going to get a payout certificate on the screen. Mr. Samuel, $1,800. on a live funded account?
Live
Trading
account
their
is
capital.
not a sim account.
Not on a sim account. Live funded account.
Real funds.
Real funds. I got a second one for you all. Oh, yeah. And I do want to mention, too, that the live accounts have daily payouts. Did you know that?
I did know that. Why do you think I'm here?
Do you know the only place that does that, as far as I know? Disclaimer, as far as I know.
It's the only place.
MyFundedFutures.
The free resets, so it's cheaper to get started, and then easy payout, so it's easy to stay. So that works for me.
Yep, and I got something special cooking for you all in a second here. I got a second one. Another member of our community to celebrate.
I'm glad we got the zoom in now. We don't have to be ants.
Yeah, it's still pretty small. But here's what I got. I got a user that had an $8,000 payout. Then a $10,100 payout.
Let's
And
go.
last but not least, a $12,600 payout. There's 3 in a row. Back to back to back. One user. Can we get a W, Elizabeth?
I'm doing
I'm
a
putting it
W.
in Elizabeth. Monstrous.
Just swept the 4 a.m. lows, by the way.
All right, we're going to take a look at that in a second here. Thank you, Forrest. If your name is not Samuel or your name is not Elizabeth, okay? Again, think about it. Is your name Samuel? Yes, no. Is your name Elizabeth? Yes, no. Take a second. Let that sink in. What I have for you is code YouTube. I'm putting it in the chat now. Code YouTube will deliver to you 30% off of our expert plan.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
That's spicy, right? No
I
daily
just someone
loss
asking
limits.
me about those.
Drawdowns up to $4,500. We have guests come on the show every single week. We talk about how they love the expert plan.
It's the best account.
Forrest says it's the best account. Barbie's smirking. We deliver. We get this feedback over and over and over and over again. We deliver. Link is in the chat. Code YouTube is in the chat. All of you, as a thank you for hanging out with us. You get to celebrate your traders who made some money. And you can get 30% off an expert plan. All right.
There's some more W. I'm just making sure chat's listening.
Okay, see, asking how many uses. You have 3 uses. How long? We don't know. Depends how quickly they get used up. Works on resets too. Little bonus. All right, Forrest, sir. You were managing a trade. You called out a lows that we swept. What's going on, man?
Let me get my chart back open here. Hold on. So we have the 4 a.m. like EU open, post open, but 4 a.m. lows got swept here. So if we were going to retrace, this would be the price area where it would start to do that, right? So let's open up ES and NQ side by side.
It looks like ES isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, it's still
again.
It's still gunning for it, which is very important, right? So until ES sweeps this, now it could diverge, right? And NQ could take the lead here, but I am watching, right? So I did take a little opening short, which I usually don't do, but I could feel it in my something. So what is
In your crystal balls, let's just say it.
yeah.
So I don't
So
have the Friday energy today, but it's, yeah.
Here's the other thing too. So like a little retracement, it's not bad to take a short here at the literal like relative highs, right? So there's some like you guys hear me say this quite a bit, right? Like if I was gonna take a short, you got to ask yourself, do I want to short down here or do I want to short up here? It's really, really simple. So if you short the highs along the lows, your odds of being green on any trade go up exponentially, regardless of what system you're trading, right? A lot of people try to overanalyze and they try to find trades in here. And it's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just try to go long somewhere low and try to go short somewhere high? And just regardless of whatever you're trading, if your system isn't making you take longs low and shorts high, your system probably sucks. Call a spade a spade. So you can always have tight risk, and the risk on this, right, if you're wrong, is super tight, right? Relatively, right? It's the VIX is elevated. It could be 100 points. I don't know how big this is. It doesn't really matter. 72 points. But it's a lot tighter than if you take any trade. If you go long or short right here, by the way, right? Long or short here, like if you're flat, your risk is going to be the edges of the market, like for sure, because the market is going to seek out those major liquidity areas. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's why I took that little short there. And yeah, it's finding a little bottom wick here. So we'll see what it does here. This is a situation where I would actually go to the lowers, like the 5, and try to get some intuition about what's going to happen because there's so much volume coming in here. So a little bit of an exception case for me, just to see what these candles are doing here, since I'm taking a little opening scalp. But yeah, swept this low. ES hasn't taken it out yet.
What a Monday for us with the opening scalp.
I know
it is a rare Monday.
I'm being a degen right now, but sometimes there's
so much
just
opportunity on this today. Yeah.
Yeah, when there's money to be made, it's like, hey, sometimes you just gotta make it.
We don't always get those Monday morning setups. That's what I always get frustrated with. It always feels slower on a Monday.
I know, right? That's the main thing. Like, the market has shown that it's gonna be energetic today, so
yeah, let's go.
We'll see. After this, though, I'll be back to my normal Monday plan. I will say that. So however this wraps up, I do expect the day to slow down midday.
I am kind of watching that same spot on ES, though. You were watching those lows that were put in the pre-market after that first initial burst. That's really that same spot I'm watching on ES, because it was actually a daily extension already, the 58.14 area.
Yeah.
See if we can grab something there. Well, I may not grab anything. I'm feeling pretty freaking good. And that's like one of the rules, right? You don't take a new trade when you're in any extreme emotion, good or bad.
Yeah, that's euphoria will get you just as much as negative emotions. I see it all the time.
So I'm not going to take it right now, but that is the spot that I was looking before as well. So
that's probably the number one thing, honestly. So I like when I'm coaching people, they'll send me like these excited messages, and it's like I literally I feel bad because I warned them. I'm like, all right, you should probably like take a break because you're flying too close to the sun.
My first question is, you got that booked, right? It's booked. You're not sending me unrealized profits that you're excited about.
Yeah, don't get smoked by unrealized gains. No one ever went broke making money. So take your profits. Yeah, you just put that on my desk. Thank you. Yeah, no one ever went broke taking profits. So, but we're just hovering around these lows. I mean, we have like this bear flag, like continuation shape forming here.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering. So if you're watching, NASDAQ has swept that and ES hasn't yet. Are you kind of waiting to see if ES is going to sweep it and then go, or are you kind of letting NASDAQ lead here?
So I want to see which one is the leader. This would be like, so there are tools like Bookmap and things like that, where like when I was scalping, I used to watch Bookmap every day, which is, it's like an order flow tool, essentially. The lower resolution that you go is where those tools become more useful, in my opinion. The way that I typically trade on the higher time frames is completely irrelevant. But I'm not going to open it up right now, but like I would open up like Bookmap to see like where are the aggressors coming in. But yeah, this is bottom wicking here. So, I'm going to trail actually my stop, lock in some profits, make sure this doesn't bounce. This will probably bounce pretty aggressively if it bounces as well.
I think everything could be aggressive today. There's definitely that risk on everything.
Yeah.
So I think it was 200 points. Yeah, it was 200 points on ES. So that's pretty big. I don't remember what you said it was on NASDAQ, but it was almost 4%. So there's a lot of wiggle room in there.
From settlement to the high, it was, can't. 838 points ish.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
probably
crazy.
off by a point. So yeah, I like that's again, guys. It's very unlikely we have a 2,000 point day, right? We made a move. It could range here, pin, right? So pinning is we build like a massive node today. It'll be a bullish, like a P shape. It could be like a P shape volume profile, but like we literally aren't going to go much higher today. This would be my like a thesis on the day is it just ranges. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to come down and crack to this gap either, but it just ranges in here. It's possible. So we'll see. Yeah. And yeah, it's bouncing. So I'm out of that. Good little short scalp there. What could happen here, by the way, I could have been played it too tight. ES could come and retest this 58.30, whatever level this is, right? It could come down, do one of these, then come down like that, right? It's very possible. But I'll take those. It's 950, so we're gonna go back to the hires and see what we've got. Red candle, 2 hours closing red. It's gonna be a high volume red.
VIX is still just walking down too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take those.
But if we've got VIX walking down and the market slowing down, that's kind of putting shrinking our potential range for the day a little bit, right? Our potential
well, that yeah, so like
plays.
That's a really good point. Like when the VIX is crashing, so as the market moves up, when the VIX goes down, you'll have that big move, but like you're not going to get, unless the VIX like races upwards again, right? If the VIX is flat, then you're going to start getting chop, right? It's not going to, unless it's a straight, U-turns, you're not going to get this massive up down day, right? You're not going to get a V shape one way or the other. So we should expect a tightening, and it is Monday, right? We had the settlement open move, and again, like I think, like we were saying earlier, like I think we generally should be long biased. Like if we just zoom out in the market, go to the weekly,
it's kind of hard to fight the Trump effect too. Even if you hate his guts, there is a particular effect he has on the markets.
Yeah, I mean, since this weekly close, I mean, we had the high volume doji, like this is like a signal candle in VPE, which just signals up. So it's been choppy upwards, depending on how you define that. On the weekly, it's been a little rangy, but we can also see here on the weekly, look how the weeks are just getting tighter, right? So we had a very big week, smaller week, smaller week, smaller week, smaller week. VIX is going down, right? It just makes sense. And so as we approach the highs, we should have much tighter weeks in general as the VIX continues to come down.
All right. Couple questions I want to throw out for the chat. One, if you took advantage of the big expert promo that we announced, I would like you to put a 1 in the chat. Again, if you took advantage of the big expert promo we announced, and this comes from listening to Forrest and Barbie, I'd like to get a 1 in the chat. I'm going to drop the link again. If you missed out, don't worry. It's still active. You have 3 uses. So there's a question for y'all. 2, I want to know what trades you have on. If you have a trade on, I'd like you to put in what the trade is, and then also what level you're looking out for. So I want a direction and a number. Long, short, and a number. Okay? And we're going to talk about them. I'm going to dish a couple of them up to Forrest and Barbie. Also, I've got another round of giveaways queued up. Another round of giveaways. We're looking for 700 on the stream. 700 on the stream. Activate another round of giveaways. You saw Barbie manage trades on the stream. You saw Forrest manage trades on the stream. The chat, I want to see what your trades are, what you're looking at. And again, we're the march to 700. And I got another round of giveaways queued up for y'all. If you have not yet liked the stream, you're incredibly lazy and won't make it as a trader. I think is fair to say.
Oops. Okay, I liked it.
Yep. If
All
you didn't
done.
like it,
I got it done. I got it done. It's done now.
it just shows you're not willing to put in the work.
I'm putting in the work.
Sorry, it's the truth. If you haven't shared it, it means that you don't care about giveaways.
I did share it in the Discord. Who forgot to share it in Discord?
It's a great question. Forrest shared it like 30 times.
Probably.
That's
a thing that probably happened.
Probably happened. All right. Preview of what we have. I asked you all for some trades or some positions that you have on. We're going to take a look at a couple of those. I'm going to dish up to Forrest and Barbie to get some opinions. After that, we will be closing the 4-hour candle, the 2-hour and 4-hour candle at 10 a.m. So once we get a few minutes into that and we get a few minutes of the next candle started, we're going to take a look at those. That's the time frame that Forrest likes to trade. I have a tease, possibly the biggest launch in MyFundedFutures history. Not an MFTV specific thing, but a big launch to tease. And we've got Ash Trades, the unicorn man himself, joining us at 10:30. How's that? Sounds great. Yeah.
Amazing.
Guys, you got to like when I'm asking you all, so I get some feedback.
I know.
So I'm distracted by the market. I'm sorry. But
I know. I'm watching
awesome.
Pretty Colors over here too. But yes, Luke, that's amazing. Let's go.
Woo! See, that's what I need to get my
got
confidence
energy,
up,
which
get my
is
self-esteem rolling. Like, all right, now I'm in it to win it. All right, I want to call out a couple of positions that the chat has on. Westbrook is short gold, looking for 32.50. Would you mind flipping that one? Forrest, you're doing something. Barbie, would you mind flipping that one?
Yeah, I can go to that. Let me
Gold
find a chart.
for 32.50.
That's why I was a little bit confused because aren't we below 32.50? What was those numbers?
Oh, they're looking for a little scalp back up to.
Are
They're
they
going long or short?
They're short. Maybe they're short it from 32.
Maybe they're short. Maybe they could be short from almost 50.
Oh, they're green. I mean, you're up 7 points if you're short.
Wait, I'm not on normal gold right now. How did I get here? I'm not on the futures. There we go. I don't know what gold chart they're on.
Just GC.
That's where I was. How did I get on this other one? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know which one I was on. This one did get up.
Short it from 32.50.
Yeah. If you shorted there, you're happy.
Do you have any opinion on a short, Barbie? If you had an open short on this, do you have an opinion?
Well, there's a little bit of a channel on the 5-minute. This is what immediately jumped out at me as we're kind of doing this little channel thing. So I would be booking or trailing down there if you're short from up here. See what I mean? This is the current 5-minute pattern, but it could have been off of a higher time frame chart too. I just pulled down to the 5-minute because they said they were scalping. See, that same channel's kind of on the 15.
All right, go ahead.
I was just looking because I was pulling out this hourly. It's kind of a bear flag fail that it's in right now too. That's kind of a weird chart. I was like,
it is a weird chart.
But yeah, you could just kind of keep playing this channel until it doesn't work anymore. Sometimes I do that with my scalps, like on the 5-minute. Because if it breaks this channel, that's where your stop is. You know it's going to break that. That's when you're out.
Yeah, true. Not a bad little technical play there.
I know some people will do this all day long. I have actually, sometimes when I'm like in that right little zone, I can sit there and just play this for like an hour. Not every day, but.
All right.
Do we have any other trades?
Yes, I got plenty. Long NQ 29.72.
Long NQ 29. I already have NQ open.
Yeah,
So looking for it up to 29.72. Up near those highs ish.
Yeah.
Nope, right at the highs.
Wait, they're long at 20,972?
They're long NQ looking for 20,972.
Oh,
They want
well,
the
right
highs
now, ES is doing that little thing I mentioned it might do where the little zig.
Forrest likes completion. I kind of do too, so I feel him on that. We want completion. NQ did it and ES didn't.
What was this?
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people trading gold today.
Well, we have suggested that when it feels like the move has already been made on the indexes to fall over to your second markets, whether it's gold or crude or whatever. There's not that many.
All right, I got one more for you. I saw it. Hold on.
Let's close a 4-hour top wick ES and NQ.
The trading gold at the
All right, let's
London
look at the
session.
4-hour, Forrest. What happened? And
One of my alerts.
remind us, Forrest, why you care about the 4-hour again. I know I ask you this like 3 times a week, but I think it's important.
It's just a clean time frame. It's less data to worry about. So that alert just fired. I've been working on turning my entire system into like an indicator. So that one of those just fired because it closed like a high volume top wick. That swept prior day high. Obviously, we swept prior day high. Prior day high is like way below us. The real question is, what highs are relevant in this context? And so we've got these highs over here. Okay, this is from March 5th. Hey, it was my birthday. So we got the birthday highs, got swept. And we just closed a high volume top wick. Yeah, this is a weird one because like I want to just short this candle. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But because we had 1, 2, 3 up candles, this could be like a 4-hour flag that's forming, right? It's in the context of a very bullish move. And we're not really in a rangy environment, right? This is a relatively higher volume down candle, but if we look at the volume of this candle, the 6 a.m. candle versus, actually that is pretty high volume. That's way higher volume than the other 6 a.m. candles in the range. I don't know, conflicting data there. Conflicting data there.
That was kind of the same thing I was looking at too, because initially, if we gapped up like this, I would be looking to retrace back down into that gap. But in the context, I just did not see that as a likely scenario. But the reason that I like that is because once you've pushed, like how much more push do you have? It tends to get quiet after that first push, and then we have to wait. So that is what makes it tricky. And the ES hasn't done the sweep to complete this scenario on the low time frames yet, which is kind of lame.
Yeah, and if it front runs this, I mean, that's just gonna be very bullish. So we'll see.
That happened last week, I think.
Yeah, it did that diverge like front running, and then it ripped. It's like a nice V-shape recovery.
Because the default mode just always seems to be bullish now. Ever since we broke away from those lows, it's been bullish. And who do we have on? I think it was Steve, probably a couple weeks ago. He was thinking the bottom was in. I've been paying attention to that. These OG traders, some of them have been a little less optimistic, but some of them is like, no, this looks good, y'all. I think we're good.
I think we're in an uptrend for sure. I mean, holding long would have paid you substantially, just a swing long in general. So if you would have, let's actually talk about the math. Anyone who just held swing long off the low, 4,000 points on NQ, which is there's almost 5,000 points, which is $20,000 per 1,000.
Nobody had the balls down there though.
Somebody did, not me, but somebody. Somebody did. So a lot of money on the table there if you just went long. That's the power of swing trading, folks. That is the
And
power.
when everybody's freaking out, the way I look at it, when everybody's freaking out on X and everywhere else is like, oh, this is 1929, we're gonna have this horrible event, and it's kind of out of context of those things. That's when I like to buy stuff. So actually, I didn't go crazy when we were at those lows, but I was averaging my Nvidia and my Apple and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I always have those points where I kind of will do the DCA moves. And so, like for Nvidia, it's under 100, and for Microsoft, it's under 400. So we were at those limits on all of those. So I had some opportunities there. I wish I had thought, oh, this is the moment to buy those crazy out of the money calls, but I always need a little bit more confidence. I have to see that the trend has officially changed by breaking some level that it needs to get through.
Yeah, predicting that trend change though is, I mean, that's hard. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we'd be gazillionaires.
That's why I started it a lot slower, like kind of doing my dollar cost averaging in my holdings before I went more aggressive in the options market and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big account's feeling much better now. Thank you, market. It was very sad there for a while.
All right. I'm back. I'm going to interrupt
Where were you off to?
and be dramatic. I was
Touching
off
up-
to reset land.
Oh, you got some codes. I like that. That's allowed.
I went. Here's something to think about, guys. This is life lesson segment again. Everybody's
Do it.
fighting their own battles every day. You don't
This
know
is very
what
true.
battles they're fighting. For me, it's fighting for reset codes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I care. Forrest cares. Barbie cares.
I saw the chat was
know-
kind of beating up on Magnus there too. Like Magnus is holding back on the codes. He's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luke's not
Magnus is
holding
who I have
back
to
on the
fight with
codes.
to get the codes.
See what the chat. I don't have the chat open
Getting
today. You
that
guys
trigger.
gotta. How's it looking in there?
It's looking spicy.
Is it? Wow.
Spicy Monday.
Someone was offering up massages.
I need one of those.
I was
Where are
making
they
sure
at?
I got in on those.
If anybody wants to be vulnerable, like I was, and talk about the battle that you're fighting, again, we care. We're a community. We're happy to hear it. Be a shoulder for you all to cry on. But I went and I fought my battle for the day. And I came out victorious with a set of reset codes for you all. I want to get some likes on the stream. I want to get some shares on the stream. See, Byte Logic is fighting a battle with Athlete's Foot. It's tough. Somebody's saying the battle they fight is that they never get the reset codes. It's tough. We try every day. I'm seeing win accounts. It's a battle you're fighting.
I know all of you
Maybe
guys have done
Ash?
like a sneaker drop or an eBay auction snipe or something like that. You got to channel those skills to get your freebie.
We got this autographed copy of Trading for Dummies by myself. It's not autographed by the author, but I did autograph it. Yeah, that's a big giveaway coming later this week. 3rd edition. Without further ado, I would like to offer up some resets. And all of you asking for accounts, I know the struggle is real. We're here for you. That's why we're giving you ideas. We talk ES and Q, VIX, pharmaceuticals, gold, your trades, our trades. A lot in the past hour. But again, we're here to help you fight this battle. And if you want those accounts, at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, I'll ask Ash if we should do some accounts today. And we'll see what Ash thinks.
I'll peer pressure him.
All right. Barbie's on your side too. So without further ado, like the stream, subscribe to the stream. We're about to do a giveaway. If you are not a subscriber on the stream, you are not eligible to win. If you have not liked the stream, you are not eligible to win. If you are not fighting your own battle today and trying to come out a better man or woman, you are not eligible to win. Don't even try. We got very advanced AI that detects these things. Code is going on the stream now. 50 of you, that's right, 50 of you are winning free resets today. Code Monday Range. Again, code Monday Range. 50 of you out there are getting free accounts. If you got them, let us know in the chat. I want to hear it. I want to see it. Code Monday Range. We're going for 500 likes on the stream. Monday
There
Range.
we go. Winner, winner, winner. We got a bunch of them there.
Dinner.
If
That
you
is so
didn't win,
fast.
stay tuned. Not only will we have another round of giveaways, but we're going to have some more trade ideas. We've got Forrest building a chart for us right now. You're seeing it live that he's going to talk us through. And I'll pull out a joke at the end of the stream. How's that?
What's happening?
That was a dirty joke.
You want a dirty joke?
It's the best kind.
How bad? Like get canceled bad or not that bad?
I don't believe in getting canceled. There's just people who are too wimpy to watch.
Too wimpy to watch.
All right, that means pretty bad.
Wow.
All right.
Whoa.
The time is 10:10 a.m. Eastern. We're about to take a look at what Forrest is building here at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We're going to talk to Ash about whether or not we should do some accounts. Ash is going to take us through his approach on the day until 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. Tell your grandma, tell your brother, tell your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, because we're still cooking. Forrest, what's going on, man?
So I'm just watching here. So we have ES built a shelf lower. So I wrote here a little note here. So ES PLC shifted lower. Typically, the day will trend in the direction where there's bias. It is early though; it's 10 o'clock. So high probability that it fills in this low value area in here, or not maybe high probability, high-ish still that it just traverses the day. Fills this in, and we end up with more of a D-shaped distribution. Right now we have two modes. Okay, there's a whoops. That's not a good way to do that. There's one little node right here, and there's another one right here. Right, you see it's coming up a little bit. So I wrote, if this doesn't bounce soon, it'll crack lower. Right, so that people are building value lower. If it doesn't start to change the narrative, which it's bouncing a little bit, it 100% will run into this gap lower, right? And so this is like the, I think once I talked about how can you tell if something's trending or not, right? And you just look where they're building value. So really, I'm just watching where they're building value. The ESPOC did shift lower there. If we look at NQ, let's see, we'll add our session volume profile and see what that looks like. NQ, point of control is still higher, right? So there's a divergence there, right? NQ just has some bias higher. ES has it lower. It's diverged. We need to see who's going to win. We did close that 4-hour candle with the top wick, but again, in this context, it could just be that the very first thing I said today, which is like it made the move and we just pin, right? Pinning means on the day, it's just going to do one of these and close. It'll close in this price area. That's highly probable. So just watching here to see what's most likely to happen here. You see I have an alert here already on ES for that level that we mentioned earlier, 58.1250. That's where it's at. NQ's already swept that 4 a.m. low. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for here. Just watching.
Barbie. No, keep going, Forrest. Keep going.
Oh, that's it, really. That's it. Oh, there's one more thing I want to mention. I'm doing a free webinar this Saturday. Totally free on VPE. If you want to sign up, go to learnvpe.com. Click the link. Sign up for the webinar.
VPE is
Volume profile execution. Or volume
profile edges.
Just in case nobody heard it last week.
Volume
It's
profile
also,
for everybody. The E is whatever you want it to be.
Okay. All right.
It's also very profitable expert, so it works for everything.
All right.
Very
Drop it in the chat here, Forrest.
I've been
It's
spicy.
learnvpe.com, is that right?
Learnvpe.com.
Okay. And what what can users expect to get out of that webinar?
Yeah, it's just going to be top-down overview of my system. So I'm going to talk about at the beginning just auction market theory. So it won't really even be just trading, but just understanding why, understanding where people are positioned in life. Same thing when you're negotiating with people, right? I have a sales background, right? Enterprise sales, closing multi-million-dollar deals. When you know what people want and where they're positioned, you can figure out what they need or want to do next. It's the same in the market. So when you know where people are positioned, they have to act around their positions, right? It's not even that they will want to, like they have to, right? If somebody's, you know, coming, if the price is going back to their basis, they have to make a decision, right? They just have to. The same way you and I do, like when you're 100 points green and then it comes back flat, you're like, oh crap, I got to get out, right? The entire market's the same. So we'll be talking about auction market theory, and then you know, it's only an hour, so I'm not going to go like crazy in depth, but you should be able to walk away with it understanding better like how I think and approach the market.
And this will help to learn how to take the slower trades that have high confidence, where you're not stressed out the entire time too, right? It's a more methodical flow plan.
Exactly.
So if you've been focusing on all the scalp, got to get in and out in 45 seconds, different outlook.
Yeah. If you've never held a trade for an hour, this is for you. Come check it out.
All right. Barbie, anything developing on your end?
I'm just kind of watching this, the chart kind of bounce a little bit and the volume kind of disappear a little bit, which is kind of what I was thinking, is people are going to kind of take off, take the easy win, and then kind of wait and see what the market's reaction is going to be. And I'm kind of watching the same thing that Forrest was, where the S&P just has not really gotten down into those lows. You can see if we have that the boner candles and then the retracement back down. That's that low. I was really watching that too. The reason I have this blue line here is it's also that trend line that we keep watching too, or it's one of those trend lines. So we've got a trend line there, and we've got the low sweep there, and we've got a daily level there. So it did seem really likely that ES was going to test that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it still does. It might be. We talk about how the market kind of takes all these little breaths, and that's what this little tool down here is. It kind of shows me the exhales versus the inhales. So I might expect this next exhale to maybe test that, but that's kind of what I'm watching too. Otherwise, it's just kind of scalping in this little range right now. So this is the hard trade. The easy trade already happened. This is the hard trade, and so I guess for me, I want to look for the next easy trade.
Do you ever force the hard trades, Barbie?
Yeah, because I'm stupid sometimes too. We all get a case of the dumps.
Yeah.
If I do,
Speaking of which, I've got a great story for this in a second, but keep going.
If I do, I try to just scale down and definitely have the copy trader off. I've actually not been using my copy trader as much as I used to. I think I've gotten kind of mental about it. So I just, when I feel pressure against something, whether it's a tool or a trade idea or whatever, I just strip it back down to basics and rebuild that back up. So I haven't been using the trade copier, but I would turn it off and I would just be in like one account taking stupid trades and not all of them. Sometimes you have to reprove it to yourself that it's stupid, I guess. I don't know. That's what I have to do. So, or I'll put it in paper too. Sometimes you just really want to take a trade that you know is bad. And that's why we have paper accounts. Just punish the paper account.
That's a really good point about the paper accounts, because I've heard it both ways. Like, I've heard a lot of people advocate for paper accounts and basically say this is, you're learning for free, take your time. Then I've had other people say you will behave differently in your live real account than you will in your paper account.
Yeah.
I think that there's an argument to be made there as well.
I think you can tell when you're going into that mental tilt though. And if you still feel like you have to push the button, that's one of the great things about Ninja Traders. I can just real quick switch into Sim, do the damage. Prove to myself it was a bad idea.
You definitely will behave differently with real money, but at the same time, like, imagine, let's just assume there's two traders and one person traded Sim for 6 months and they track their performance every single day, right? And the other person just traded for 6 months and they had nothing, right? Which is what most of the people in the chat are, right? It's like, who do you expect to do better over the long term? You know what I mean? So it's the hard, tedious work that's going to make you better. Like, yeah, both of those traders are going to behave differently when they trade a real account, but one person is going to be way better equipped because they're a scientist, right? They approach the market with some professionalism and expectation to be profitable, and the other person is crossing their fingers and gambling. You know what I'm saying? So it's super duper important, and there's no reason not to do it. Like, just click. It takes 2 seconds. You can create infinite number of sim accounts in TradingView or whatever. Every tool broker has sim accounts. Like, if you're not doing it, it's because you're lazy and you want to fail. And I don't feel bad.
I've noticed that too, because if I take the time to go practice a new trade setup in paper, I get all those little kinks worked out, and I know it might even take me an extra week to get all those little kinks worked out, but then I can actually make money with it instead of getting frustrated for weeks with it. So it ends up making money faster to take the time to study and practice than if I just try to hit it. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's an eval account. It doesn't matter. It still matters because you're spending money on it. So you can get the trade plan done in paper and then move over to whatever funds you're using, even if it's a prop account.
Yeah.
The chat's wondering if ES is bear flagging him.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that one. Is it?
Well, they're both kind of making this ugly. It's not a clean flag, but it is. So, I mean, a flag is an impulse move with consolidation after it. So we do have that, actually. There's an impulse move with consolidation after it.
What do you mean by impulse move when you say impulse move?
It's strong. So that's it's an Elmo candle or a boner candle or whatever, where we have a really strong. You've got consolidation and then a move away. It's that strong move away, and a lot of people will call it an impulsive candle or a momentum candle. It doesn't really matter what you call it. It's going to be a lot bigger than the other ones on the chart. Okay. So that's where the action is, and then
you called it an Elmo candle or a boner candle.
Depending on what color it is.
Okay, got it.
There are two very different degrees of appropriate. We've got Elmo, and then you've got boner at every opportunity that we can.
I'm just using the language of the people.
The colloquial, yeah. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. I just wanted to make sure I understood the.
Yeah, it's the local vernacular for trading.
I think that's what Ash calls it too, but.
Yeah, so and it is. So we're in a little bit, and it doesn't really matter if you call this a flag or a consolidation or whatever. We pull this out on a 1 minute, it'll look like a little channel right here too. So you can look for that to break. And the way that flags break, they usually are going to break towards the direction of the impulse move. And well, there's a slight bias towards that to happening, but they can also break back up to the other side. And they can just break small. So this could be where it just breaks and finally takes that level that we were looking at there around the 58.14. So that is there. I see it. It's definitely there. It's kind of forming on the 15 a little bit too.
And coming from our conversation about the accounts and all that and trying to make life easier, I've got a question for the chat. If you have never been a MyFundedFutures customer before, please put a 1 in the chat. I might be hassling special, but if everybody's already been users and all that, then we'll just keep cooking to some giveaways. But if you've never been a MyFundedFutures customer before, you've never bought anything, put a 1 in the chat. Wow, that's more than I would have expected. All right. Forrest.
What you got?
Should we cook something special up for the people who have never been customers before? It's a decent number.
Nah, forget them. I'm kidding.
Forget them?
Let's do something hot for the newbies. What are you thinking, Luke?
Something hot?
What are we cooking? What are we throwing in the skillet?
All right.
Put on the stove.
Let me go to my combobulator here.
What are we putting in the oven?
I'm typing in my combobulator.
What are we?
All right. What if we did 50% off of any plan for new users?
Oh.
Yes.
Really, I like that. That's really good.
Is that like the biggest no-brainer purchase of all time?
And I have to keep pointing this out. There's no activation fee. So that email you get after you pass, where it's like, congratulations, give us more money. That you don't get that.
you've earned the opportunity to pay us more money. No. So yeah, it's super MyFundedFutures, and it's when you pass, it's like automatic, right? It's like an instant account creation. I'm pretty sure for most. I think there's more options now since the last time, but yeah, it's like automatic. You don't have to pay anything, and yeah, get yourself an expert account.
That's the math I keep trying to teach people. They're trying to tell me that this other account is cheaper, and it's like, but it's not though, because I did the math on the
But it ain't
beginning
though.
and the end of it.
All right. So I just dropped it in the chat for everyone. 50% off new users. Limited time. Not going to be running forever. Code and link is in the chat. If you've never made a purchase, you're crazy. As Barbie mentioned, there's no activation
They're just new.
fees.
They're not crazy. They're just new.
Okay.
They're crazy. They're nuts.
They are traders, though. So in that case, they're nuts.
They're
sort of
sick.
nuts.
What are you doing here? You're crazy.
Yep.
Join us.
All right. Without further ado, I'd like to ask for some final thoughts.
Sure. Put me in, coach.
Put Forrest in, coach.
All right,
Am I-
Forrest, you're in.
I'm in.
I'm coach.
Awesome, dude. Look at this.
He
I
wants
forgot
his
to show you
screen.
guys my other. I got this really sick top down. Did my camera die? It did.
In theory.
I was cooking some stuff for you guys, but I've got this top
Next
down
time.
camera. Next time we'll use this. I got the whiteboard. I'll teach you guys something.
Woo.
But for now,
He's got all the good
for
toys.
now, so we had that bimodal distribution, which is having more bias to the downside here. This looks like it is going to push lower, right? So we're building value lower, which again, I could see it just because of the day. Like maybe it bounces here and we fill this in this bimodal distribution. ES looks way more bearish right now than NQ. So we'll see.
ES has to catch up on that low sweep a little bit too.
Yeah, if it cracks and holds this, then I'll take a short, probably all the way to this gap fill. Would be what I would do there. In the meantime, though, just watching, just waiting for that to happen. So not much has changed. Just watching where value is being built. Again, guys, I'll say this over and over and over again to beat it into your squishy brains. These are people. Okay, this isn't like magic. When we're looking at indicators and stuff on the charts, it's two different types of indicators. There's things that are very simple. There's things that are like highly derivative and try to get magical. Volume profile is just how many people are here, right? How many people are here? How many people are here, right? That's all we're looking at. Very, very simple and intuitive. And right now, all the people are coming in at these lower prices, right? And we do have a red candle on the 15, right? Slower time frame, higher time frame, 4-hour day close, a high volume red candle with the top wick. Okay, it's a bearish candle, signal candle in the VPE system. So, yeah, we'll see, and yeah, it's starting to push lower there. So there it is.
There it is. Barbie.
Well, I thought I'd let Forrest take that one because he was kind of talking about that sweep earlier too. But that's kind of what I was showing y'all too. Is the kind of normal play is to kind of go for the retracement of this major pump, and so we'll see if we get that. I just didn't have as high a confidence with it because we have that candle that we made at the that should have been Asian Open or London Open in there, the European Open. But we also have this gap down here. There's a lot of ground to retrace while still being up on the move in general, if that makes sense. So that's why there is just a lot of room for this to range at this point. So I'm just going to watch the levels, kind of take one level at a time and see what happens, like I always do, but kind of keep in the context of if we drop, we're likely to test these kind of mean. We've got this level here, the sweep, but then this other one is kind of that breakout point around 57.70. And otherwise, it could do a walk up too. So kind of everything's on the table since it's Monday. I'm just going to kind of see what develops and see what sets up for the rest of the week.
All right, folks. Big day. Next up, we have the unicorn man himself, Mr. Ash Trades, joining us. We've got another hour, another 60 minutes of content to be rocking and rolling with you all. So can I get a TY in the chat? A little thank you. A little TY to Forrest and Barbie. Both hitting trades on the stream today. Talking about a ton of assets, your trades, pharmaceuticals. It goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And we don't stop. So thank you both
Won't stop.
for being here.
GameStop.
Game stopped. All right. With that, I'd like to welcome our dear friend, the unicorn man himself, Mr. Ash Trades, on the stream with us. Ash is starting week 2 on MyFundedTV because you guys demanded more. 90 minutes we're sweating out here, working for you guys, punishing our keyboards. You say more, I need more, I need more. And we deliver. We find a man capable of satisfying your need to learn, your need for ideas. A man willing to take trades on the stream. Ash Ketchum, Ash Trades. How we doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I aspire to be like a WWE announcer.
Yeah.
Like do like these big dramatic entrances to announce people coming onto WWE.
How was the weekend? How was your Mother's Day?
Dude, it was pretty awesome. Every holiday, I pretty much do like a 3 or 4 house shuffle, and I quite enjoy it. You know, it's like fun hopping from place to place to place a little bit.
Very good. Perfect time to touch some grass, recharge the battery, get ready for another good week of work.
All right, and we're starting with the dramatic day.
Yeah, what a move, huh?
Yes. Ash, before you get going, question for you out of the chat that kept popping up over and over and over and over again. Should we do free accounts during your session, these next 60 minutes here?
You know how I work. I think we got to make a deal here. Where are we at so far? 127 likes. We are below the bar at the
There's no
moment.
way we're at 127. You got to refresh that.
Let's see. Let's see if the refresh does the trick. Oh, I would have guessed that updated real time, but maybe I'm wrong. It's 431, so I got that wrong.
All right, we're going for 1,000. What's the level, baby?
We're still setting the bar at 1,000. We hit it 2 times in a row. We got to make it 3 times in a row. I mean, let's go 3 for 3 here.
It's 1,000.
1,000 likes.
Live level is in the chat. You have it, folks.
There's 917 people in here. Everybody hits it once, so you'll be there in no time.
All right.
Be there in no time.
All right, Ash. I want to turn it over to you and just get into the heart of the content today. Actually, I'm not going to turn it over to you yet. I'm going to ask you a question. Any trades today so far?
Yeah, we're staring at it right here. You guys should be able to see my executions. From
it's small though. Could you zoom a little bit?
Let's see, because I had to do a screenshot. I guess can I zoom in? Let's see.
You do screenshots so you can Photoshop it to make your entry look better, or what?
Yeah. No, you guys could go check it on the back end. This was a 50K expert account. It's a funded account. It's sitting near 5K in profits now. So just wait until the payout window to get to another payout. Feel free to fact check me. This is on my 50K expert account.
Ash, I guess talk us through the trade a little bit more. And then I got a follow-up question for you.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to show the executions. I'm not going to give you guys my account credentials. That's why I don't have it here on the live chart. We go take a look into it now. This was what a move. What a move. It just goes to show that the market is so in tune with the tariff news right now. We've spoke about it multiple other times. Like, we need to be aware of Trump and anything he has to say. So, the trade deal news, they loved it. So huge move higher. I've been bull posting for quite some time now, going back to our very first stream here. My very first stream on MyFundedFutures YouTube was me talking about long-term positions back down here. It was somewhere in here. I think it was during this day. It was on a Monday. So I've been bullish for some time now, and we've gotten a beautiful move higher. We're probably about 13% higher from that moment in time. The message I was trying to get across was, the day trading is a source to another income to fund the long-term positions, and that's what the original conversation was that all this news, they use increased emotions, increased fear to set up new buying opportunities, and that's what this entire move down was. I know the Bears had a field day with us for over a month or so, but we're back to the regularly scheduled program. This market keeps moving higher. I think it's going to continue to keep moving higher. It always has over the history of the market, and in my opinion, it's really just only a matter of time until we, go see new all-time highs, which is up here. So, in my opinion, I'm maybe I bull post too much, but I'm a bull. I'm going to remain a bull. That's why last week, almost all the positions you saw me point to intraday were long positions. I want to be in line with the higher time frame order flow. And in my opinion, the market's always gone higher. So I think there's just a little more probability in taking longs versus taking shorts because of that higher time frame. And same thing happened here today. That's not to say that the shorts can't make money. The Bears do a great job in this market as well. We did get a beautiful move lower at the open, but this is what kind of provided that idea. So if we do want to walk through the position now, taking that higher time frame premise of being aligned with the higher time frame order flow, then it's a matter of looking for divergences. So for me, it was a divergence trade. You take a look at this low here, okay? We'll take a look at this low here on NQ, and this low was resting right above a very bullish imbalance from the overnight. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, if we go over to the correlated market, ES, we can see the divergence. So yes, the market has now tapped into it. Let me show you what it looked like beforehand. All right, this is what it looked like heading into the trade. So this is where you can see the divergence. ES did not sweep this low, while NQ did sweep this low. That's a divergence between two correlated assets. They should be moving the same at the same time. So since there was a divergence, right, then I went down to a lower time frame and looked for a trend break, a market structure shift, a change in the state of delivery. There's a million different terminologies out there. You could call it whatever you'd like to call it. So it really just comes down to this right here.
And Ash, could you zoom this screen by chance? I'm getting a couple comments that it's small.
Maybe if I share it differently, let me
just like a couple control pluses for me.
Control plus. Oh, did that zoom in or not?
Yeah, it zoomed, baby.
Where I was going with that was this here, right? It's just right a downtrend. So after you see the divergence, we then get down to a lower time frame where it changed the direction. It's just a simple trend break, whatever you want to call it, market structure shift, whatever you want to call it. And then you look to enter where the market broke, right? So for me, I call it a breaker block plus an FEG. So this high here was the last high of that downtrend. The moment in time that we changed the trend was when we made a new high. So since we changed the trend during a divergence, in what I have is a bullish bias, then I would start looking for longs, right? So there's a very tiny one, but there's also a fair value gap right in here. It's so small you could barely even see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in here between these two candles. It's so small you're not going to be able to see it. Let's go back here.
And Ash, real quick, I want to interrupt you for a second.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that the trade you took today was on your expert account.
Yep.
You showed us what it looked like. Do you like the expert account?
In my opinion, the expert account is the best account on the market, the entire market.
And why do you like it?
The consistency rule is the first thing. To not have to deal with any type of consistency rule, you could really, position yourself very well. You don't have to worry about doing certain limits. You could just trade the way that you want to trade, and the results of that, you get paid from it. So no consistency rule is the first thing. End of day drawdown. I mean, that's what trading is. The unrealized intraday trailing drawdown is the most unrealistic thing you can get when it comes to trading. Seeing that it's end of day drawdown makes complete sense. And then the payout rules too. You make it 14 days and the first 10K over the buffer goes directly into your pocket. So you get over that buffer and you got a lot of room to work with no consistency rule. That's a good recipe for some good trading right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so my last payout came from the 50K expert account as well. It was like 9.3K, something like that, at the end of April. Beautiful payout from a 50K expert account. The rules to the 50K expert account are the most realistic in my opinion.
So if we were to offer everyone, in honor of you, 30% off of the expert account, what would you think of that?
Absolute steal. I mean,
Deal?
Yeah, that's a steal. That is one of the best deals you're going to get, with the best rules that you're going to get. You really can't ask for more. That is a phenomenal deal, without a doubt.
All right, I see Abhishek dropping a code in the chat. Should I post it?
Yes, please.
All right, code YouTube. Link is in the chat. 30% off X-ray, and it works for resets. Oh, baby.
Very nice. Best account on the market.
And Ash, how many likes are we up to?
Let's take a look. Where are we at? We're up to 540 now. We're making
All right,
moves.
we're looking for 1,000 likes, guys. And we have some free accounts headed your way. 1,000 likes, free accounts your way. It doesn't get any better. Ash, keep going. Talk us through what's happening right now.
Yeah, and if you want me, let me just reshare my screen because I think that is changing the Zoom. Reshare this. Give me 2 seconds because this is probably going to make it better. Let's go like this. Okay. Now, if everybody in chat, let me reshare the screen there. Tell me that this should look better, correct? In terms of zooming in or not. Just give me a thumbs up real quick. You should be able to see this one clearly now. So that one should work better. Perfect. Thank you for the response. All right, so let's take a look again. I'm just going to walk through the trade that I just took so that we can explain the logic behind it, the decision making, and the methodology. So going back to the beginning of the conversation, you want to be on the same side as the higher time frame order flow. That is the first and foremost, most important. It's very clear that the market has always gone higher in terms of the long-term view, right? Higher time frame. The long-term view, this market has always gone higher. That's the first thing. Okay. Second thing is having that long-term perspective and using short-term logic or short-term narratives to align yourself with that higher time frame logic. And for me, that's simply using imbalances with divergences, right? So two correlated assets, NQ and ES, they should be moving the same at the same time, okay? So seeing that NQ took out this low right here, and at the same time, ES did not take out this low, that's what a divergence is. Okay, so that divergence itself is the market tipping its hand to me saying, hey, something might happen here. And since that is aligned with my higher time frame point of view, that's when I would go down to a lower time frame to look for a position. Okay. And the positions that I use are breaker blocks, right? Plus an FVG. Okay. So a breaker block, a bullish breaker right here. Put it on the screen. This is what a bullish breaker is. Take the arrow off of this. This is what a bullish breaker is. It's a swing low, then a swing high, then a new low, then a new high. Okay. The moment in time we change the trend, that becomes a breaker block, right? The trend being a downtrend. It gets broken right here and the trend changes. So now let's do that within the candlesticks itself. As I had mentioned on other streams, I'm looking to participate at New York Open. So you can see 9:30 here. At 9:30, we start heading lower. So in terms of a trend, you get a downtrend to start the day, right? The market moves lower. The very first time that trend changes, whether you want to call that a market structure shift, change in the state of delivery, whatever you want, is right here, right? So we were doing lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we made a new high at this moment in time in here. Once we make a new high, I want to see that that is done with an FVG. So it's extremely small, so I have to zoom in to do that, but there's an FVG right here. Okay, it's extremely small, but that's where the FVG is, right? So seeing a breaker block plus an FVG, that's the entry function that I use. So then I outline the breaker block right here. I enter at the beginning of the breaker block with the stop loss at the low. So right here. And I aim for 2R. Okay. So if you go back to the entry screenshot, I'll go ahead and post that on my socials after this as well. But we entered here at 9:56. Okay. Whether you want to limit order a long, or if you want to market order a long, that becomes a personal preference. I don't think there's a right or a wrong in terms of how you want to enter the market. It's a personal preference. Okay, so I got in a long here at 9:56. It went into some drawdown here. Okay, but that's fine because look at where the invalidation is. Right? It's very clear where invalidation is. It's the swing low. So it does not go to invalidation. Okay, give me 2 seconds. It does not go to invalidation. Instead, it goes into profits at this moment in time here. And so this is where I began to take profits. This is where I closed the position. It was a 1-to-1. Okay. Reason being that I closed before 2R was an emotionally based decision. And for someone who, teaches emotional control, mental intelligence, emotional intelligence, I'll be the first one to say that I'm human too. There's nothing easy about trading. I say the things that I say because I experience them within my own trading. So it is a realistic point of view to any of the other traders that are out there, right? It's not easy seeing the price fluctuate up and down. You have to really detach your emotions from your execution to really have some solid risk management. And it's okay if you can't, as long as you can realize that, as long as you can have some self-awareness to be able to say, hey, I'm getting too greedy right now. I need to stop. Or, hey, I'm feeling too fearful. Maybe I should just close the position. And that's what happened today. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm completely okay with going through this documentation and this journaling of my trades with everyone here. And feel free to form your own opinions about it. The fact of the matter is I captured about 50 points here on NQ. Okay, so at the end of the day, it was a positive learning experience, right? I got just about 50 points here. I'm just letting everyone know that, these mistakes, it's human nature. That is the natural progression of a trader to go through these types of situations. So even though what I preach is, 1 to 2 risk to reward, set it and forget it type of execution, I'm human too, right? I have to go through these obstacles as well. And since it was an overwhelming feeling, I went in and closed the position. I was able to have enough self-awareness to say, hey, I'm getting a little too euphoric. It went nicely into profits. I don't want to ruin what I'm doing because I can't be objective to price right now. For that reason, I closed the position, right? So I'm happy that it was a good learning experience. I'm happy that it was a profitable learning experience. And I'm happy that I was able to be self-aware enough to be able to take the profits on the position. Now, what's going to go into the journal and what's going to go into the documentation is what I was feeling during the time of, the mistakes that I made through the executions, right? First mistake being, we're on the 1-minute chart. Majority of my trades occur on the 5-minute chart. So first things first is I don't even like being on the 1-minute chart. The majority of my losses in my career have occurred on the 1-minute chart. And throughout 2025, I've been working very diligently to get off of the 1-minute chart. So that's the first kind of obstacle or mistake, whatever you want to call it, that occurred today. Second was the execution, being able to set it and forget it, right? Even with the almost decade of experience I have, I'm still feeling these emotions while being in a position. And that kept me away from that set it and forget it mentality. So these will be documented, and I'm here to show you that I'm human too, right? This is the natural progression of a trader. At some point in time during your trading career, you're going to end up going through these experiences as well. You have to be able to be objective to these experiences, though, is where I want to wrap up this trade, is that when you have a losing trade, you can't get too down on yourself to the point where it deters your future executions. But same thing goes for a winning trade. You can't get so euphoric after a winning trade that you go into your next trade double or triple the size, thinking, you know everything and you have so much room to work with that I'm going to go heavier on this next position because, I'm nicely in the profits right now. So point being is you have to remain objective to all of your results, okay? Every learning experience is a learning experience. Don't allow prior experiences to deter future results, okay? So I'll go ahead and post those executions after this live stream. For anybody that's just joining the chat now, just replay the live stream. The executions were already shown. Let me see. Maybe I could pull it up again real quick. Nope, I already got rid of it. So I'll go ahead and post those after the stream. But just giving you guys an example of a trade. This was from a 50K expert account. One contract of NQ at 50 points is just under $1,000. So, $1,000 in the matter of, what is this? Let's see, 956 to 1017. So 20 minutes for $1,000. I mean, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I'll go ahead and post that after the stream. If you want to go ahead and ask me any questions regarding the position, feel free to. I can't withdraw that. This is a 50K sim funded account. So there's the 14-day payout window, right? So you got to wait 14 days from the first trade of the payout window. So we'll have to wait in terms of payout window. But that's why I like the expert account, and that's why I keep talking about the expert account, is there's no consistency rule. It's not like, okay, I've made $1,000, but that's, 60% of your total profits. So now you got to make more money because it doesn't hit the 40% consistency rule. There is no consistency rule in the expert account, and that's why it's so amazing. Okay, so feel free to go ahead, throw any questions in the chat. I'll review any questions that come across. Once again, hit the like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. That way we can get another giveaway going. There's 1,700 people in here, so you can easily all hit it one time, and there's another giveaway. Okay, so I will gladly be sharing my trading journey here with everyone daily. Okay, so just understand that there should be no comparisons. Okay, I'm not looking to be the best. All I'm looking to do is take care of my family and provide for them. I'm not looking to compare myself to anybody else, just like you shouldn't try to compare yourself to me. So when reviewing this documentation, make sure that you understand thyself, right? If I'm saying this because this was one contract of NQ. If that's too much risk for you, only you will know by looking inward, not by looking at me. Right? So if $1,000 is too much to risk right now, that's how you know that you should get down to M and Q, the micros. That'll be smaller position sizing. Okay, so the next thing that I have to say about that is fall in love with the process and allow the results to be a byproduct of that. That's why I'm documenting here publicly for everybody, so that you could see the process that I go through daily. If you're capable of becoming an independent thinker, to create your own game plan, to then execute your own game plan with strictly defined risk management, you could turn this into another source of income as well. It doesn't matter how you execute, right? It doesn't matter if you have different opinions than me. What does matter is that you're capable of running this business, capable of coming in here, creating a game plan, defining your risk, and executing that game plan. Okay? And we could all do that together, whether we agree on positions or not, whether we agree on how to execute or not, whether we agree on the terminology or not. In my opinion, being around other like-minded professionals gives you so many more experiences than if you were to do this on your own. Right? If you're sharing information with us, just like I'm sharing information with you, then we get hundreds of different learning experience than just being on our own. So show up looking to relentlessly work and learn every single day so that we can continue to keep getting to our goals, because that's the overall achievement here, is that no matter what goal you have, that we just focus on working hard every single day so that we can get to that goal. Okay, don't compare yourself to others. Don't let other people's opinions deter you from your own executions. Just focus on working hard.
Ash,
Yes.
should we celebrate? I want to celebrate what you're saying
Absolutely.
about community and being together and goals and building. As the voice of the chat, the conduit for you all, as the person who loves this stream very dearly, because it is, as Ash saying, an extension of what we already do at MyFundedFutures, a way for us to do it together, a way for you to achieve goals. I want to give out some free accounts.
You are the man, Luke. Perfect timing.
All right. Here's what I need. First, I need everybody to like the stream who has not yet. I'm going to wait for a second Because in order to be eligible for free accounts, you need to have liked the stream. Second, I'm going to need everybody right now who's watching to subscribe to the stream, because you must be a subscriber in order to be eligible to win. All right, so you must have liked the stream. You must be subscribed to the stream to be eligible to win. And last but not least, you need to have a positive attitude to be eligible to win. Positive attitude. I saw Ash smirk. So I need you to confirm in the chat what your attitude is for today. All right, I need you to type in the chat what your attitude is today. I just typed in mine as positive, energized, loving the news cycle, loving being with you all. Oh, yeah, look at it go. Can you see the chat, Ash? Oh, we can't hear you. Uh-oh, Ashy. We can't hear you, sir.
There we go.
There we go.
I was saying the energy you put into the world is the energy you get in return. So positive energy every day, all around.
All right. So I'm going to take a look now. I want to make sure everybody liked the stream that's watching. I'm going to take a peek here. How many likes are we up to? We are at 631. I saw about 500 of you say that you're feeling positive for today. You're subscribed to the channel. That does, in fact, mean that you are eligible to win. So without further ado, I'm going to give away some free EL2 accounts. That's eval to live. 2 steps. Basically, what this account is it's a very special and a very different account than what you typically see in the prop space. What we try to do is we try to make a faster, and incredibly clear, transparent, objective pathway for you to become live funded. Again, it's an objective, easier pathway for you to become live funded. Get that account. It's an eval to live 2-step account. 50 of you, that's right, 50 of you out there are getting free accounts, no strings attached. That brings the total to 150 people in MyFunded TV community getting free accounts today. It's almost $20,000 of value given away on this stream, in addition to all the enlightenment Ash gives us, the trades he shows us, the setups that he gives us, the psychology, the love he exudes into our chat community. So without further ado, I want to get the code on the screen for those eval to live plans. Live 50. 50 of you are big winners today. Code live 50. This is our eval to live plan. So we gave away 2 rounds of free resets, 1 round of free accounts. In the first 90 minutes, we talked about ES, NQ, pharmaceuticals, VIX, gold, Barbie's trades, Forrest trades, your trades. Ash hops on. We talk about his trades. We talk about the fair value gaps. We talk about the setups that we have live in the market right now. We talk about psychology. We talk about community. And 50 of you just got free accounts. Can I get a big thank you, Ash, in the chat?
Throw W in chat, too, if you were able to get one of those free eval to live accounts. Let's see who was able to capture one of those. There's some W's. Congratulations to the winners.
All right, and I'm dropping a link in the chat as well, which is code YouTube, 30% off expert plans. So you did not get a free account. Don't worry. We still have something cooking for you. 30% off expert plans, no activation fees, works for resets. Code is going in the chat now. I see so many of you saying that everybody wants the eval to live plan. It's the most interesting, most exciting plan. So thank you. Sky is blue one. Love you too. Ash, I just wasted your time. You only have 60 minutes with us. I just sucked up like 10 minutes of your time. Sorry, sir. I will
very worth
pass
it.
the baton back to you.
Absolutely. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to kind of some of last week's information because I find this very important in terms of intraday trading. This is something that, you know, maybe it's just logic that I use. If you don't agree with it, that's completely fine. This is just something that has provided some good results for myself. So let's rewind to Friday, in which on Friday, I asked everyone whether they would take this long or not. Okay, we were down here. Let's see, I believe it was this candle in here. Give me 2 seconds. So on Friday, I had asked who is bullish, who is bearish, seeing who would take this long position. Okay. And so I got quite the response in terms of this long position because of the current information that was being presented, right? So we had a very heavy sell-off during the time of, and then I come in at this moment in time, exactly what the position indicator tool is saying. I asked everybody, you know, are you bullish? Are you bearish? Essentially, would you take this position? Yes or no? And quite the response I got. You know, a lot of people are, you know, the bears were out, to say the least. The bears came out of hibernation, talking about needing lower prices and so on. Okay, look at what ended up happening to this position. Never hits invalidation. Even better, we go ahead and gap up over 400 points and then run another 400 points higher. Okay, so nonetheless, what I'm trying to point to is good locations for positioning. Okay, this is where this conversation is going. Finding good locations for positioning. Okay, there's a reason too why I'm specifically pointing to this location. There's a reason why this did not hit invalidation and instead went maybe 800 points higher. Let's go out to the higher time frame and it'll explain why. This explains it right here. Okay, so we're going to talk about some other positions as well, but let's start with the Friday position. I've been bullish. I've been talking about bull posting for quite some time, and now here's where you position yourself within bullish markets. Whether you agree with it or not, feel free to come up with your own logic, your own decision making, but here's mine. When I'm bullish, I'm looking to long below old swing lows or bullish fair value gaps. Okay, so take a look at this fair value gap here. Take a look at this swing low here. Now imagine positioning yourself in a long position at either one of these locations, right? So beautifully respects the fair value gap, right? Whether you want to enter there at the fair value gap, put the stop loss below it. That was a beautiful long position. Or this position here, we had talked about price sweeping an hourly swing low. We put the stop loss right below the prior hour candle low. Now look at this positioning, right? This is an absolutely gorgeous location to position yourself for longs. And that's the conversation I'm trying to have here. On Friday, we pointed to this. It was a 1 minute long. The reason for pointing to it was because we were below an hourly swing low within a bullish market. That's the key to take away here. Locations to look for long positions. Below hourly swing lows, inside of hourly bullish fair value gaps. Okay, so this was Friday's information. On Thursday, we had talked about finding support at 50% of the current range, which we ended up doing. So if you go back to Thursday's live stream, this is what I pointed to here on Thursday's live stream, stating that I was looking for price to find support at 50% of the range. Why is that? The fair value gap, right? This is the actual reasoning, the actual logic to it. Okay. higher time frame logic using lower time frame entry functions. Looking for good locations for longs, those good locations being higher time frame points of interest, those higher time frame points of interest being swing lows or bullish FVGs. Let's go back to Wednesday. Wednesday, me and Burke wrapped up the stream, and what I spoke about on Wednesday was range trading, looking for deviations of the range to then move back to equilibrium of the range, stating that I was either looking for a deviation of the bottom of this range here or a breakout and retest of the bull flag here, which both of them ended up happening. We got the deviation, right? Again, the entire conversation is looking for good locations to position yourself in bullish markets. And what I'm trying to say is finding a higher time frame swing low or FVG, right? Go ahead and just rewatch the prior live streams. It's the same exact information that's being shown here, but you just saw it happen 3 times in a row just in the last week. And you can see within that week, I was posting majority long positions for this reasoning. Okay, so again, below an hourly swing low, beautiful location to position yourself for a long position. Inside of an fair value gap, beautiful location to position yourself in long positions. Below an hourly swing low, another beautiful location to position yourself for long positions. Okay, so point being, you want to align yourself with higher time frame order flow. That's why we were looking at longs all of last week, because of this here, right? If you zoom out, right? Zoom out, get a higher time frame perspective. If you zoom out, this market continues to keep going higher. Okay, so the higher time frame logic, the daily chart, continues to show higher prices. So going into lower time frames, right, that's when we go to the hourly chart and look for those good points of interest to position yourself for long positions. Once price is at one of those areas of interest, that's when you get down to one of your executing time frames to execute your entry function. And again, for anybody that's new to the stream, we'll quickly go over my entry function to close up my segment. I just wanted to make sure everybody understands the logic and decision making that's going into each one of these trades. So if you continue to keep showing up with me, we're going to relentlessly work and learn every single week. I'll gladly show you my executions. I'll gladly provide that logic or decision making in real time. You can see that the market is now 900 points higher from that logic that was being provided last week. Okay, so the last step to it is the entry function, and we'll go over a bullish entry function since we're talking about higher prices. Let's get rid of this arrow real quick. Bullish entry functions. For me, it's simply a breaker block plus an FVG. Whether you want to call it a downtrend break, whether you want to call it a market structure shift, it doesn't matter. The terminology is not the key point here. The key point is reading price, understanding order flow, understanding how to position yourself, when to position yourself, where to position yourself. For me, it's a breaker block plus an FVG. This is how I engage with the marketplace. A breaker block, a bullish breaker, specifically since we're going over longs, is a swing low, then a swing high, then a new low, then a new high. Okay, the bullish breaker is always going to be an up-close candle in between the first swing low and swing high. So location 1, location 2, swing low, swing high. The bullish breaker will always be an up close candle in between those 2 points. All right, so find the highest up close candle right there. That's the bullish breaker. Then we need an FVG to be aligned with it, right? So during this leg higher, when we go through the breaker block and create a breaker block, we need to see that there's an FVG aligned with it. So right here, this would be a breaker block plus an FVG. Once those things occur, that's when I look to position myself. I enter at the beginning of the breaker block with a stop loss at the low and aim for 2R. Okay, so that's what a bullish position looks like for me. Okay. Now you understand where we look for it. Now you understand the logic to looking for longs. Okay. And we can quickly go through a short position as well. Now, I wouldn't take this position because of the logic that I'm stating of higher prices. I'm not looking to short. The only reason why I'm showing you this is for identification of the entry function, right? So just like I just showed a long position, this would be a short position. A short is a swing high, a swing low, a new high, then a new low, right? The breaker block is going to be a down close candle in this leg here, right? So let's go to price action to actually look at one, and you can see it here, right? So swing high right here, swing low, new high, new low. Okay, so then you look for the down close candle in the initial swing high to initial swing low. Here's a bearish breaker right here. And you have an FVG aligned with it. So this is what I call a unicorn model, a breaker block plus an FVG. And this did a phenomenal job here, right? So for shorts, just like longs, you enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop loss at the high, aiming for 2R. Right, so I would call this a confirmed short entry at this very moment in time. This very moment, because we get candle closure below the breaker, that makes it a breaker block. The moment you get a candle closure below the breaker, that makes it a breaker block. Seeing that there's an FVG aligned with it, that makes it the unicorn model, a breaker block plus an FVG. This is the first moment in time I would be looking to enter shorts. If I had a short bias, right? If I was bearish, this would be the first time I'd be looking for shorts. Enter at the beginning of the breaker. There you go. There's an entry there. Put the stop at the high. And you aim for 2R. All right, so let it play out, and there you go. Just to give you an idea of what a short position is. All right, so this was replay mode, just so everybody's aware. This was replay mode. I'm simply just trying to show you what a bearish breaker is. I showed you what a bullish breaker is. Okay. People are asking, why is it a breaker block? Okay, so this should be, it's a breaker block because it's just a break of a trend, right? So notice how we're in an uptrend here, right? We're going higher, we're going higher. Take the arrow off of there again. Just a break of a trend. It's a break and retest, right? It's a whatever you want to call it. There's thousands of names for it at this point. You break the trend, right? We were doing higher highs and higher lows. This was an uptrend until it broke here. Okay. Just a break of a trend. Then it retests that area that it broke from. Now, if it respects this area that it broke the trend, that's what would show that it was a reversal. Just simple break and retest. We don't need to have all this confusing terminology. Just a simple break of a trend, retest that area that it broke from, and then it goes. Right? So, for example, we're currently in a downtrend, right? Here's the highest high, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. If we were to break this downtrend right here, right, we would have to go through the last high, which is right here. That would be the breaker block if it occurred. It has not occurred, right? See how price has not created a new high yet. So we cannot call this a breaker block yet because the trend has not changed yet. So I wouldn't even outline that because it has not occurred yet. Just again, giving more examples. So if any of this is providing value to you guys, do us a favor, like the video, sub to the channel. If you sub to the channel, that way you can communicate with us. You can ask me questions and we can go over information. The chat is sub-only mode, so make sure you sub to the channel to do that. Also, turn the notifications on. That way you can be notified for when we go live. We're doing this daily. We're looking to provide value every single chance we can. And for myself, I will be showing up relentlessly working and learning every single day because this is my business. I'm gladly showing you guys my trading business. Okay, if you can gain some kind of information from that, phenomenal. Just know that you're going to have to be an independent thinker. Okay, you're going to have to assume your own risk. You are the only one responsible for your own risk, and it's going to remain that way. Okay, you have to understand yourself to know what you're willing to risk, what your risk tolerance is, and then you have to take extreme ownership in that. Okay, because the moment in time that you could fully accept the risk, that's when you can allow the probabilities to play out. That's when you can execute your plan, allowing the process to be greater than the results. And that's when you're truly objective to price. That's when you're executing your defined edge, your defined risk. Okay, that's when you have a game plan and you're running a business here in day trading. Okay, so understand your risk tolerance, take full ownership of that, and know that you will be the only one pressing the buttons for yourself. So that's why you need to gain the conviction. That's why you need to show up and continue to keep learning every single day as well. Because you need to turn it into muscle memory so that you have a source of income on your own. You don't have to rely on nobody or nothing. You just need an internet connection and a platform to trade on. It's the only thing that we need at this point. That's why we learn this skill. Okay. Having that source of income, having some time freedom, having some location freedom. I couldn't ask for any more. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. So don't let others deter you from that. Show up, focused, looking to give it your all. Focus on working hard. Allow the results to be a byproduct of that.
I dig it, sir. And we want to help. Help not only with the free accounts that we give away, not only with the live trades, with the education, with the charting, with the psychology, not only with your fellow chatters that you have, but again, per Ash, we have this code YouTube for 30% off of expert plans. It works for resets. You can use it 3 times. I'm putting it in the chat one more time. Lucky Luke, Ashy Trades, we're trying to help you out. So we're making it easy for you to get an account, to try it, to get started. There are no activation fees ever. And so that link is once again in the chat. Ash, could you give us some final thoughts or some final words of wisdom, sir?
Yeah, another phenomenal day. You know, the one thing I do have to say is after large expansions like this, don't force yourself upon the market. You know, the market's only going to move within a certain amount each day. So if you weren't able to participate in this move higher, don't force yourself upon the market. In my opinion, the market has phases, right? Like times in which it expands in one direction. And that's what you're looking at here with this move higher this morning. After that occurs, it goes into a phase of consolidation. So be able to recognize the different phases of price delivery so that you can position yourself properly. So the expansion happened during London. If you didn't capture that expansion, have the willingness to be patient and the ability to recognize that now we're dealing with some consolidation. And during consolidation, that would be a time to be more patient than normal.
I dig it. You heard it here, folks. Can we get a thank you, Ash, in the chat?
Thank you as well. I greatly appreciate everyone here. I greatly appreciate all the comments and questions. The whole MyFunded team, you guys are doing amazing, and I'm really appreciative of you guys allowing me to be here, working and learning with the entire community.
Well, thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate
Absolutely.
you for taking time out of your day, out of your trading to be here with us.
Absolutely.
So many comments. Big Ash Ketchum.
Gotta catch them all.
All right. Thank you, sir. When will you be back?
Tomorrow, 10:30.
Tomorrow?
We're doing this daily.
Every day?
We're going to continue showing up, working, and learning every single day.
You're kidding me.
Hey, if you guys will have me, I'm ready.
All right. So you heard it here, folks. 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. We will be getting started with Forrest, Barbie, and their lovely host, Luke. 10:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to have Ash on. He's going to give us a target for some likes to get some free giveaways. He's going to take us through whatever trades he's placed, whatever trades he has on, whatever trades are coming around the corner, and he's going to teach us how to think in a more mature way. All righty. Thank you, sir. Happy trading to you, and happy trading to everyone out there in the chat.
All righty. Have a good day, everyone.
Just keep smiling.